Agon. The San Francisco Ballet, in its first program at the Athens Concert Hall, presented the works Agon, from the Greek word for struggle, In the Night, and Prism by George Balanchine, Jerome Robbins, and Helgi Thomasson. A triple bill partially dedicated to neoclassicism, Balanchine's special contribution to the art of dance, which overturned what was assumed to be a rigorous tradition for 300 years. Balanchine, who knew in depth the classical repertory as a graduate of the Imperial School of St. Petersburg and had also undertaken music studies, achieved one of the greatest change in directions in the art of dance. It should be noted, however, that the best way to approach the kind of refutation that he affected, as well as his particular stylistic idiom, and to appreciate the humor which breezes through his oeuvre, is by being familiar with the classic ballets. That way, the spectator can come close and welcome the range and quality of changes in the gestures, the hyperextension of the bodies, the rapid execution of movements. The female dancer continues to occupy center stage, and as she did in the classical and romantic works, but now her movements are increasingly athletic and technically extremely demanding. Balanchine dealt with those problems too by imposing the jutting out of the pelvis, hyperextension of the legs, quick succession of balance points, flexing of the wrists and the ankles. His ballets are devoid of a narrative structure, and the male and female dancers compete with one another in carrying out the most difficult compositions, whilst the pas de deux in Agon, for example, ironically mutates into a pas de trois with two women or two men, perhaps after the work Jeu by Nijinsky, choreographer and dancer before his time in the Ballet Russe. When pas de deux is a pas de deux, the female dancer's body is manipulated and displayed either by the dancer herself in the course of the choreography or by her partner, mostly in traditional fashion, but perhaps with overtly aggressive overtones. This aspect of Balanchine's choreography has been criticized and even avoided by others who may have been otherwise influenced by him. Merce Cunningham, significant modernizer himself, reproduces the feel and some of the choreography from Agon in a totally new context in his work Duets. Balanchine's Agon is one of his most important works, if not the most important, in that it expresses the fullest version of his stylistic innovations. Jerome Robbins was for many years Balanchine's close collaborator in the New York City Ballet, which was formed by Balanchine. He's a special case whose background as a dancer and choreographer of musicals clearly shone through in his ballets. For example, leg compositions, sense of spectacle, staging, relationship between male and female dancers. Robbins follows a loose narrative and creates elegant images with a sense of introversion. His significant contribution to the modernization of ballet dance was the revelation of erotic passion, which is never openly manifested by extravagantly physicality or gestures. Helgi Thomasson, former dancer of the New York City Ballet and artistic director of San Francisco Ballet, has tried to continue as best he can and to adapt in his work his experience from his time with the legendary Balanchine.